grandma was available to watch the kids when you want to. That's why daycares were so cheap. Daycares are not cheap because of supply and demand. Because we got 65-year-old grandmamas taking trips to Belize with their girls and they doing body shots. I could never, my grandmothers, Lily B and Clarice, I could never expect them at 65 to be out on an international trip on the beach with other grandmas all the time versus being 65 and wanting to go to Disney or Universal Studios on the family trip at the beginning of the summer before the kids go back to school. That ain't happening. They ain't into that, especially if they have been what we classify today as a city girl in the 90s, the 2000s, and 2010s. If they spend 30, 40, 50 living their best life, unmarried, coming out of divorce, living the way that they want to live, they see these young girls online and they wish that they would have done it back then. 65 is too old to be a city girl. Now, full transparency, if you want to be a city girl, be a city girl. We don't shame you over here at TMG. Most of the time, what you guys hear online about modern women goes into the city girl persona or it goes into the female persona. And both of those personas do not qualify for the great relationship outcome. They're below the line. The city girl, she is who she is and she's unapologetic. She's boisterous. She is attractive. She has body goals. It has nothing to do with her weight, but it has to do with her wallet. She may have kids. The city girls are going to have kids. The city girls and females have kids. She's going to have kids, and everything she does is to take care of her kids. And then she wants to expand that love to her friends and her mama. Because mama watches the kids when she's city girl. Mama, you just going like she's 65 and she watching the kids because city girl pay her rent. City girl gave her a lease on the business.
I don't care what y'all say today. How y'all doing? God is good. He is worthy to be praised. Greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. I can do all things through Christ who gives me the strength. Amen. I haven't shaved, and I'm not gonna shave. I shaved for date night later tonight. Welcome to another episode of TMG Reacts. I am your host. I am the author. I am the creator, Glenn. How to Get Great Dating Outcomes in a Modern World. Parts 1 and 2 are available. Thank you for the increased traffic to the website. I got a report. We were up 2,000%. That means you guys are, it's resonating. And since it's resonating, why don't you go buy the book? Download a copy. It's on sale right now. You can go to our website. You can go to the store. Then you can buy. We have the ebook and the audiobook, and the audiobook is on sale through the end of the month of April. $5. We're trying out something, and it's actually had really nice responses. If you don't want to do that and check out with your own credit card, go to Amazon. You do have to log in and subscribe to our newsletter, which I haven't sent yet. Everyone can testify. We're not spamming you, but that's where we are. And if you call that number, which is on the website, it's a call service. So make sure you join us. Make sure you buy the book. Then join us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and X. You can see we got a lot going on right now on the top of my window. So let me stop the share just for a second because I only want to share a window. I only want to share a window. How do I do that? You know what? I want to optimize video for sharing, and I want to look at layouts. What are the layouts? Because you know what I want to have happen? I would really like and portion of the screen. No. I would really like just for it to be side by side the full way, but it's just not It's not giving, as you people say. I think that's sharing the audio. Let's pause for a second and let's figure this out. So you guys see the thumbnail for, and I don't just throw out thumbnails. You guys know that by now. What I like to do is to make sure that, let me make sure I'm on. I don't think it's, the speakers changed. Come on, AirPod.
Toast. There we go. So you guys know, you've seen the thumbnail, but you guys also know that I don't just throw up those trolly thumbnails where I look exacerbated like I am often when watching these videos. But if you don't know who this is, fair use first. Fair use. This is a video between Jason Lee and Young Miami. Shout out to Jason Lee. When you're ready to have me on, I'll be on. But this is for the topic. What is a city girl? We did a video last week, I believe. Yeah, last week, episode 72. It's down there in the notes of the previous episode where we talked about what is a city boy. I wanted to go through what a city boy was. Because I am an equal opportunity providing host on podcasts, on lives, on videos, on streams, and in my books, we're going to talk about the other side of it. What is a city girl? Now, I don't have a fun little thumbnail, and I didn't do it this way last week because I wanted to save this. You all know who Young Miami is. She was a member of the City Girls, but they have since broken up. It was Young Miami and JT, and there's also a third one I think is doing Life. Karesha, is that accurate? So anyway, these girls blew up from the pandemic on, and they promote the city girl life. Now, what is the city girl life? The city girl life, you take Foxy Brown, Lil' Kim, Meg Thee Stallion, Cardi B, and all of the toxic TikTokers, put it in a pot, mix it up, you pour it out, that's the lifestyle. But Young Miami is asked two questions in here that I want to highlight. The first is, how long can you be a city girl, or how long have you been a city girl? And then, how do you promote city girl to the next generation? Now, I have said, and we believe over here at TMG, that the city girl is below the line of qualifying for a relationship, and here's why. The city girl, like the city boy, is only about her. She's not about the conquest, she's about the cream. We talk about what the cream is in our book in chapter 3, part 1. She's only about the money, the power, the respect, the persona, the online audience, the followership. And there are different versions of city girls that we talk about in the book. Boss baddies, divas are the main two. Boss baddies are boss babes who make really good money, who have employees, who have a business, and that's what they lead with. Divas are not employers, they're employees, but they spend heavily on their appearance. Hair, nails, makeup, lashes, eyebrows, outfits, bags, trips with the girls, buying brunch for the girls. And before you go in the comments, the city girl has chosen this life. We're not against the city girls over here at TMG living their life and choosing their best life. We're just identifying it, fellas, so you know what you're up against. Boss baddie divas. That's what we call them, boss baddie divas. The baddie is just someone who's fine, or who's a 6, an adjustable 6 that goes up to 8 or 9, but she has no agency. So, Young Miami has agency. How she got that agency is not up for discussion, but she has agency. She is popular. She is famous. She has collabed with some of the top artists, and she used to date P, the diddler. So, first question that Jason is asking that we would like an answer to is, how long can you be a city girl? If you have not, make sure you click share and subscribe right now. Make sure you go to the website, you purchase the book. Right now we have 50% off on the digital download. Let's react.
Because it's just, it's a new romance, but it's toxic.
Of course. All the relationships are toxic.
So you're 29 years old. How long are you going to be a city girl? What is the lifespan of a city girl?
It ain't no age span.
No?
No. It depends on like where you at in life. A lot of people, like me, I don't want to be married. So I'm a city girl all my life.
But can you be, because 65 is the retirement age in the U.S., could you be 65 and a city girl?
Yeah, like once you're 65, it's for real, grandma. Like for real, like you could be, you ain't gotta be a city girl, but you could be like a little. No, you can't be a city girl that's 65. I don't like that. I ain't gonna say I don't like that, but I think it's time to like stay in the house and watch Lifetime.
Okay, so when you and Lauren London, when you were acting, did you all connect on a personal level?
All right, so that's another one. So this is going to talk about the relationship. So she did the typical sign language playbook for women on women. If you guys don't know what sign language is, shame, insult, guilt need to be right. If you're ever in a conversation, fellas, with a woman and it's going in circles, check for the signs. Is it shame? Is it insult? Is it guilt? And at the end of the day, is it need to be right? Because when you're in a toxic situation in a communication battle with a city girl, a gal, a female, and then sometimes a modern woman, because that creeps back into her vernacular, got to understand it. But on this side, you can see she doesn't believe that a woman should be a city girl at 65, but instead of dealing with the attacks online, she says, I'm not going to say that that's not a thing, but I just think you need to be at home watching Lifetime. Everyone should agree that at 65, grandma should be at home and watching the kids. Now, before you come at me in the comment, I didn't say grandma had to work. I didn't say grandma had to be married. I didn't say grandma had to make children a part of her life. Part of the life cycle used to be when you had your kids, you had the support of a village and grandma was at the top of that support. Grandma was available to watch the kids when you want to. That's why daycares were so cheap. Daycares are not cheap because of supply and demand. Because we got 65-year-old grandmamas taking trips to Belize with their girls and they doing body shots. I could never, my grandmothers, Lily B and Clarice, I could never expect them at 65 to be out on an international trip on the beach with other grandmas all the time. Versus being 65 and wanting to go to Disney or Universal Studios on the family trip at the beginning of the summer before the kids go back to school. That ain't happening. They ain't into that. Especially if they have been what we classify today as a city girl in the 90s, the 2000s, and 2010s. If they spend 30, 40, 50 living their best life, unmarried, coming out of divorce, living the way that they want to live, they see these young girls online and they wish that they would have done it back then. 65 is too old to be a city girl. Now, full transparency, if you want to be a city girl, be a city girl. We don't shame you over here at TMG. Most of the time, what you guys hear online about modern women goes into the city girl persona or it goes into the female persona. And both of those personas do not qualify for the great relationship outcome. They're below the line. The city girl, she is who she is and she's unapologetic. She's boisterous. She is attractive. She has body goals. It has nothing to do with her weight, but it has to do with her wallet. She may have kids. The city girls are going to have kids. The city girls and females have kids. She's going to have kids, and everything she does is take care of her kids. And then she wants to expand that love to her friends and her mama. Because mama watches the kids when she's city girl. Mama, you just going like, she's 65 and she watching the kids because city girl pay her rent. City girl gave her a lease on the business that she owns. She gave her a car. Mama, you go ahead and drive this SUV. Don't worry about the payments. I got it on the business since you be watching the kids. Mama, don't worry about that bill. Just hand me that Comcast or Spectrum bill. I got you. Fair use. So I just think that's the thing that they do. And that's the thing that you're going to have to deal with, fellas. Now, the city girl and the city boy, let them go be in the kiddie pool of the dating pool together. That is my advice to every person. When you come into contact with the city girl or a city boy, city girls in particular, men, because we find males and modern men dealing with the city girls at a higher level, it's not going to go anywhere long term. You're not going to get her to change who she is in order to identify and meet your needs. She gonna give you what she gonna give you. You're replaceable to a city girl. Has no one told you guys that? You are replaceable. She has people in her DMs. NBA, NFL, Major League, minor league, soccer, swimming, track and field, pawpaws, who now got they check coming from Rolls-Royce and GM, and now they want to spend it on a little bit because they've been divorced from the 65-year-old for now the last 10 years, and they lonely, and they just want some attention. City girls know. City girls are up. City girls own houses. They ain't like the females and the modern women who hate owning their houses after the last decade. City girls' house is full of people. She collected rent. She has her own agency in most instances and a lot of times, unless she's just a baddie. If she's just a baddie, she's just existing to be doted on. But if she's a boss diva, she got her own place. She can afford it. She got a baby brother, guys. You know this. He stay with her, and she be babying him. He can never do any wrong, but she would never date a guy of the persona of her baby brother. I mean, you guys asked for it. That's what a city girl is. All right. So I want to go and I want to look at something else, and I want to get to the other part that is really, really toxic, guys. Really, really toxic.
Mm-hmm. I'm pregnant.
Right now?
No.
You'd be the second pregnant woman on the show drinking daily on.
No, I'm just playing now. I do want more kids though.
Yeah.
Like I like being a mom. I love my kids. Like they just make my day. Like I love waking up, taking them to school. I be like, they don't really know what to take them to school. Listening to Charlamagne on the Breakfast Club. Like I enjoy being a mom. I do want more kids. Like I feel like my grandma got 7 kids. One of my grandma got 6 kids.
All right. This is the extended part because people have seen the clip. We're talking about she didn't want her daughter Summer to be a city girl, and Jason Lee didn't really dig into that the way I would have, but that's why he's on that show and I'm on mine. She's going to start talking about the grandmama. Remember, JT's 29, which means that her grandmother at the oldest is in her 60s. At the oldest, grandmas back in the day used to make babies. They used to have families. They used to find pride from it. This generation does not, and it's 100% your choice. I just think that the best outcome for any society is one man with one woman with long-term relationship, marriage, children, and legacy as a result. When everyone is bought into a common goal, people align themselves with the common goal and not their self. Because when you have people align with the common goal, that's how you get great neighborhoods. You get great neighborhoods because great neighborhoods are aligned with other neighborhoods, and we all have the same common goal. That's why school systems in great neighborhoods can't do what they want to do, because the neighborhoods are all aligned with how their kids are going to be taught things. When you have great neighborhoods, you create communities. When you have great communities, you have great cities and counties and regions and states and countries. Why do you think there's so much turmoil and distrust? Everybody's doing their own thing. And if you start and go all the way back down, women used to be the transmitters and communicators of culture. They used to be the ones that would impart the early childhood. This is what they're being taught now. So she about to talk about dropping her kid off to grandma. Because I don't know where her mama is. And I don't really care.
One of my grandma got 7 kids. And I love the way, like, you got different personalities, but they are your kids. You always got, like, a slow one. You always got one that's going to talk back. It's just, like, it's fun just seeing, like, you in the house with all your kids. They are. You like, shut up. You're like,
that's how black people talk to their
yeah,
kids.
like, I want that. You know, like, I want to be in the house with my kids. They are. And I'm like, for real now. I brought y'all in this world. I'll take y'all out. Like, I want that. Like, you know, I want this.
But what if Summer comes to you, as pretty as she is, and says, Mom, I want to be a city girl?
She ain't gonna be no city girl.
Here we go.
Summer ain't allowed to be no city girl?
No.
No. I want her raised totally different. Like, you know, I don't even want her to even see the light of day like that. Like, I really want her to just be like you know, like level-headed, a schoolgirl, and just on a whole nother wave. Like, you know, I kind of was raised different, so I don't want to raise her up how I was raised. So, you know, I'm a city girl, ain't nothing wrong with it, but I don't want that for my daughter.
So your mom, she went to prison for murder, got out.
Okay, that's the answer I needed. So this is the contradiction, and I'm going to stop the share on that. I'll link the original video in the show notes, but here's the reality, guys. City girls don't even want to raise city girls. So why is the main city girl in her music, in her art form, teaching women to be something she doesn't want for her own daughter? You guys got to start paying attention. This is what I talked about maybe 2 years ago about the music. The music that women are buying right now is loneliness. Love SZA, very talented, but Coco Jones ain't selling like SZA's selling and selling out arenas, because Coco Jones' music is actually about love and recovering from an argument and staying together, even though Coco Jones and her are the same age. Keke Palmer is floating on that line. I did an episode on Keke. Keke, are you okay? That was years ago when that whole thing came out about her having her boyfriend and they're not together. She's floating on that line. But the city girl mentality is all about self. It's boisterous, it's cocky, braggadocious. It's money focused and money driven. It's local community driven and self-promotion. And they do it through their body and through sexually explicit expression. She don't want that for her daughter. It's what I talked about 20 years ago when people and artists were coming up as rappers. All them fools are married for 25 years, 30 years. Their kids have all graduated top of their class in high school and colleges. That's why you don't see a bunch of kids, rappers, from their rapper parents. They understand. It was all about the money. I think we're probably going to see an exception with like Blue Ivy and the Twins. But where Ja Rule's kids? Ja Rule got 5 kids. Ja Rule's kids should have dropped something. Remember when the Diddler tried to have Justin and King Kongs come out? It didn't pop because he didn't need it to. He didn't have to go out and do the shows to go get show money and promote the music. His dad was the founder of Bad Boy Records. I think he got $200 million from Def Jam to sell the catalog. He just keeps selling the catalog and kept living his life. So you got rappers from the 2000s now. Perfect example, who I love, who I met when he started. Shout out to you, Tallahassee Payne, T-Pain. When you first came out, we were at Summer Jam in 2005 in Tallahassee. I was repping a group called Hella Clever with the Clever Boys. Nice guy. Wife was there, gave him a kiss before he got on stage, talking about Armstrong. He debuted like 2 songs, which later became I'm in Love with a Stripper. And then he did a little freestyle. And then he sang Teddy Pendergrass songs. He sang. Got off stage, kissed his wife. They got in a regular car and left. And T-Pain has had a great career over 25 years. He came to our city and we were trying to get tickets. We were like, we going to see that? Kids graduating college. Young Jeezy, kids graduated college. Russell Simmons, kids was all rich. Run DMC, all rich. LL, all rich. You don't see baby LLs running around. Now, who you do see are those tier 3 and 4 rappers, their kids trying to get a buzz. And most of them, I'm not going to name names because some of them are on my City Girl playlist when I'm in a City Girl mood. But that's the point. City girls are not raising city girls. City boys are not raising city boys. So why is it okay for them to live the life that they want and then promote it in their art form? I want to know what you think. What is a city girl? What is a city boy? If you have not, won't you will, please go to the website, tmgbookseries.com. I said I wanted to rant today. I ain't even shade because I was just ready to rant on this. How to Get Great Dating Outcomes in a Modern World, available on Amazon, on our website. Also available on other digital copies, wherever you buy a book. Shout out to our affiliates that really came through with effort this past year. And we're going to double down with a couple of them because this is doing well. This message is not going anywhere, guys. It's a modern world, and you need to reach the modern ground in order to be successful. I am your host. I am the author. I am the creator. I am Glenn. Thank you for joining us for another episode of TMG Reacts. Have a great, great, great rest of your day. But what we have found in this arena of city boys, we have found females and modern women who are getting themselves caught up in the city boy lie. What's the city boy lie? The city boys are the ones who have what I call the 3 C's. 3 C's. The 3 C's, the first is chemistry, conversation, and comfortable. City boys are masters at gaslighting and making you feel comfortable. So when you're comfortable, you lull your senses into believing this is a man that I could be with. Conversation, he holds your attention because let's just be honest, ladies, in 2025 and beyond, as of this recording, y'all like to be entertained and stimulated constantly. That's what y'all want. Entertain me, talk to me, engage me, work with me. And the city boy has mastered that. He has conversation down. And then the chemistry, he has the look, he has the smell, he has the swag, he has the relationships, he has the network that you want your man to have. But a city boy is about one thing and one thing only, which is the 4th C, conquest. He's only about the next conquest. He ain't even invested in the conquest that he's on.